the intervention of the courts in Nigeria's democracy is becoming a source of concern to stakeholders, especially as the country moves closer to the 2023 elections, from Port Harcourt to Kebbi and then to Calabar, as seen in the past few days in the People's Democratic Party. In addition to developments leading to the imminent Anambra governorship election, stakeholders are worried that the trend signposts possible dangers ahead, even as the searchlight continues to beam on the judiciary for its apparent willingness to aid and abet desperate politicians. And the latest report says the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, has summoned 6 Chief Justices in the country over the conflicting court orders emanating from their states in the last one month. The summoned Chief Judge are those of Rivers, Kebbi, Cross River, Anambra, Jigawa, and Imo states. The affected Chief Judges are to appear before the NJC to explain what warranted the issuance of conflicting orders by courts of coordinate jurisdiction. Now, for more on this, we're now being joined by Tunji Shelle, a former chairman of the Lagos chapter of the People's Democratic Party. Good to have you, sir, in the studio with us.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Great. Now, as I said just now, the courts are becoming like a marketplace where politicians are able to buy court injunctions and ex parte orders. Where does that leave the PDP before we speak of Nigeria?
I think I'm as concerned as every other person. The role of the judiciary is to make things work better, but what we are seeing today is otherwise. PDP as a party has a solid structure that can take care of its internal wranglings, because politics is all about mischief, intrigues, power play, and stuff like that. More so when election is around the corner in 2023. Who becomes what somebody becomes, the presidential candidate, the vice presidential candidate, the national chairman, and so on and so forth. So there's bound to be friction, but at the end of the day, it's better to take the interest of the party first, and then every other thing should follow. I think the leadership of the party is working now, from the National Working Committee to the BOT, to the National Caucus, NEC, and everybody. And reason will prevail at the end of the day.
Yes.
But the court cases are not called for.
Okay.
It's in the Constitution that you explore all avenues before taking any matter to court. The present one, I don't see any need for it. And we should blame the judiciary for even entertaining certain suits
Yes.
in the court of law.
Yeah. So, I mean, this casts a very not good light on the judiciary. And so what do you think is going to become of these 6 justices that were called up?
Well, they should be disciplined. They should be made examples and then treated as outcasts in the profession. The judiciary is the last hope of the common man, but it shouldn't be abused. Okay. It's gone beyond abuse now. It's being bastardized, it's being compromised. And nobody has respect for the judiciary again. I personally, from the leadership down to the bottom, I don't know why a case in Abuja should be taken to Kebbi to be looked into. It's absurd.
Okay. Let's leave the judiciary to one side, because you're here speaking as the former chairman of the Lagos State chapter at PDP. From what I understand, the elders of the People's Democratic Party have stepped up their intervention, and they're saying that both Nyesom Wike and Uche Secondu should withdraw their suits. Now, what this tells me is that what we're essentially dealing with are 2 gladiators who are dragging the whole of the PDP through this crisis. What does this say, again, I say, about the state of the PDP, where you have strong men rather than a strong institution at the fore?
This has to be corrected. In the first instance, how did Secondus come to power as the chairman of the... People rally around him, including Governor Wike himself. So if there is misunderstanding, because there's a power play now, intrigues is expected. But a national chairman should understand that the interest of the party comes first. And then we have a challenge ahead of us to defeat the present APC government, which should be our priority, not internal wranglings. So I'm sure reasons will prevail, and Prince Secondus will see the reason to withdraw the suit, and likely whoever took him to court to...
Well, they said it was Nyesom Wike.
Well, I don't want to jump into conclusion because his name will not appear on the suit.
Well, the elders said.
That one is... one cannot just preempt and speculate at this stage. All we want is harmony in the party, unity in the party, and progress so that we shall face 2023 on a common front.
Mr. Shelle, a lot of Nigerians are wondering this question right here. Which is the way forward?
The way forward is to ensure that all the mistakes of the past are corrected. For APC to have won election in 2015 and 2019, that should not repeat himself because we have been taken aback. A lot of things are now wrong. The economy is in shambles. Insecurities are the highest hell. And the corruption they set as part of their agenda to remove is still very much with us. So PDP has learned a lesson now. Fortunately enough for us, PDP has been cleaned. All the people having baggages, EFCC cases are now in APC. So Nigeria should be the judge. So during the next election, they will know where all the people who have stolen our money are, and they shouldn't give them another chance.
I take it when you say all the people having court cases are now in APC, you speak of the avalanche of people who were going from PDP
the exodus.
to APC.
Yes, the exodus. They were being intimidated because they have a case to answer. I don't want to mention them one by one. So many of them. That's why they ran to APC. And APC, they are running an illegal structure now, which will backfire. The judiciary too should come in this case. How can a governor, sitting governor, be the chairman of a party? When does he do the work in his office as a governor? And how many times does he have to go around and start poaching people from PDP, intimidating them, going to show them their scorecard, which if they are guilty, let them go for it. But to now absorb them into your party and feel Nigerians are daft and they don't know what is good for them, good luck to them in 2023.
Speaking of what is good for Nigerians, I just want to put it to you, and maybe if you take off your PDP cap, you might be able to state this as objectively as possible. Former INEC chairman Atahiru Jega says that both PDP and APC have had more than 20 years to get it right, and they have serially gotten it wrong. And these recent spate of crisis, whether APC or PDP, perhaps should open our eyes to the fact that maybe these two parties are obsolete when it comes to addressing what is really good for Nigerians, because you're so obsessed with what is good for yourselves.
I may have cause to agree and disagree with him. That's his own personal opinion. He has been in INEC, and I think he did his best, but it could be better. During his tenure too, elections were rigged. In some states, they just wrote results. If I were INEC chairman, I wouldn't have tolerated all those things. So I know there are weaknesses in both APC and PDP, but one is better. One has been tested and found to have had faults. Another one is now being tested, and this one has failed totally. So there is a difference. I wish there could be a midpoint. There are a lot of brilliant people in Nigeria who can step in and rule this country, but they don't have the structure. PDP has the structure. APC has structure for now. But let's groom young men. Let's groom young men. There are brilliant young men in this country who can rule this country from the grassroots, from world level to the national. I can see an array of intellectuals, brilliant people. Because they don't have the structure, they cannot win elections. But let us blend for now. The good ones from PDP, the good ones from APC, and gradually we move up and get
or outside
Nigeria.
of PDP and APC.
And it's possible. And a third force will eventually emerge. And everybody will now start playing politics the way it should be.
Mr. Tunji Shelle, thank you so much for talking with us this afternoon. Tunji Shelle, the former Lagos PDP chairman.